everyone and welcome back to my channel. I have a book review for you today, and that is Winter Soldier Cold Front by McKenzie Lee. McKenzie Lee is the same author who wrote Loki Where Mischief Lies, which I have read and reviewed on my channel. She's also written one about Gamora and Nebula, and I think she's written another one, but I can't remember who it's about. So obviously this is about Bucky, but this is not the Bucky that we know from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is very much comic Bucky, so more in line with a Bucky you would see in the Captain America comics, for example, before Sebastian Stan took on the role in the cinematic universe. So yeah, it's more comic Bucky than cinematic Bucky, but basically it kind of deals with the same thing that happens in Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, where Bucky ends up being like, who am I? I had a life before I was this like assassin and everything. And so yeah, it's more in line, this storyline is more in line with Captain America Winter Soldier. So yeah, we're just going to talk about this right now. So in this book, Bucky is about 16 or 17 when he wants to fight in the war and everything and like be a soldier, and he's under the careful, watchful eye of Commander Crawford, who is kind of like his pseudo adoptive parent since his parents died and his sister Rebecca was shipped off to a boarding school, which is actually what happens in the comics. So like I said, it's more comic Bucky than cinematic universe Bucky. So in this, he doesn't know Steve as from a young child. He ends up meeting Steve later, and I don't feel like that's a spoiler because obviously he's gonna meet Steve and everything. Steve's a little bit older than Bucky in this when they meet. But basically, the storyline is he gets in a fight. So that's kind of in line with what we know about Bucky, is that he's kind of like Steve in that he stands up to bullies and he doesn't like people who are unnecessarily mean to people and stuff like that. So he still has that kind of like righteous, like, I could do this all day type vibes. I kind of missed that she didn't put that in there. She did have a who the hell is Bucky moment, and I was like, oh my god, I see what you did there, McKenzie Lee, and I applaud you for it. Thank you for doing that, because I feel like you can't have a Bucky story without him being who the hell is Bucky. So he ends up getting taken home by Commander Crawford, and Commander Crawford was in a meeting with a guy called Mr. Yesterday, who is the head of a top secret kind of like Kingsman-esque organization. And he's like, hey, why don't you come and work for us? Because you seem like the kind of person who would be good for this job. So on his first ever assignment, he ends up getting entangled with this girl who I'm going to talk about later in a more spoilery section, and he ends up getting entangled with her and all of her backstory and drama. But then this is also a dual timeline. So we're following Bucky in 1941, which is when he was younger, and then we're following him in 1954, when he's becoming the Winter Soldier. So in order to continue talking about this, I have to talk about spoilers and everything. So if you don't want to be spoiled, please leave. If you don't care, continue watching. It's on you, my friend. Okay, so Gimlet ends up being the daughter of this basically turncoat who stole top secrets from the British government, and so he's like a fugitive and everything, and he's the one who actually came up with the way to reprogram people's minds. So like in the movie, especially in Civil War, when Zemo reads off that like list of random words, and it triggers Bucky into his Winter Soldier persona, that's Gimlet was what her name is called. Her actual name is Imogen, but she goes by Gimlet or Jenny. And her father was the one who invented that. So in the 1954 timeline, Hydra, which they didn't even know who Hydra was at that point, it comes into play later. The Russian government, or whoever, Karpov, who is actually from the comics, so I did recognize his name, they end up looking for Gimlet because they want that technology, and so it basically gets appropriated by Hydra, who kind of like infiltrates into the Russian government, because you know Hydra controls freaking everything in the cinematic universe and everything, so that's kind of the similarity. So I was like, oh, I like that they kind of explained where that came from, since that's not really explained in the cinematic universe. So I liked that. I was like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool. And it turns out that Bucky's mind has already been wiped like multiple times, but his memories keep coming back, which is why they want this technology to be able to wipe him completely, so he will never remember who he actually is. So again, there's a lot of parallels to the cinematic universe, which I appreciate. So I really liked this book. I would definitely pick up more by McKenzie Lee if she continues to write these Marvel like stories, because I loved Loki Where Mischief Lies, because I feel like in the Loki TV show, they took some stuff that was planted in that book and actually put it on screen. So yeah, that is my review, my rambly review for Winter Soldier Cold Front, and I guess I will see you guys later. Bye!